So we found this motor in a SSP coupe that we just brought home to the channel recently. So one of the issues that we had is I didn't hear it run. The previous owner said it ran for like a few minutes and then it, had a head gasket problem and all kind of little red flags were going off in my head. So we bought a bunch of extra stuff to kind of go through the engine, new gaskets and such. I got valve train, I got a set for it. But one of the major red flags was the fact that this thing fell out. Just like any other engine on the channel, I want to make sure that it's going to run tip-top and it's not going to have any issues. So we're going to check some stuff inside the engine, make sure it looks right. If I catch anything that catches my eye that might not spec or within tolerance, then I'm going to go ahead and change it and get it fixed. So stick around. We're going to build us a 300 horsepower, naturally aspirated production block 302. And if you've been around Fox bodies long enough, you kind of know what this looks like. Okay, so first things first is we're going to have to get the old headers off. Well, the engine definitely was fired for at least a second. Next, we'll be taking the cylinder heads off. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave this bracket on there. It's not a big deal. Might have to untorque some of this because they had just been replacing the head gaskets when I had picked the car up. But I wanna make sure this thing is good to go. Another red flag that we had is this is a trick flow harmonic balancer spacer. And they're supposed to be, this kind of helps stabilize right here. And this is supposed to have a couple black like clips on it, and there was no clips on it at all, and that's not supposed to be like that. So I gotta call Trick Flow and get one of these. What it looks like to me is looks like the kinetic head gasket. Let me go ahead and take it off. Yeah. Let's look at the bottom of this. Definitely was fired, but what the hell's going on here? I gotta take these over to the machine shop, make sure they're flat. You can reuse kinetic head gaskets, but I got the Felpro 93 PT1s over there that I like to use. Might just keep these off the motor for now. This is what you deal with when you're dealing with used stuff. I gotta go in here, look at this, I gotta go in here and clean all this shit up. Block looks brand new. It hasn't even, been broke in yet. But these are flat top, obviously flat top like DSS pistons like we had talked about. Looks like the block was decked as well. But we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of this other cylinder head off, take a peek at it, and I'll show you guys after. And for those of you who don't know, this is a set of Flowtech aluminum heads, like 180s. And this is why you always go through your engines when you get them and you don't know nothing about them for the most part. I mean, these pistons aren't bad, but look at this one down here. Look, see the nick? So I pretty much got to take this whole engine apart now. Probably just go ahead and take it over to the machine shop and have them just look it over on the bottom end. Check some clearances and some tolerances or whatever, but we're gonna take it apart here. This is a lesson learned on the video. Maybe I should have took it apart and freshened it up before I sold it, but that's okay. We're gonna take care of it because that's what we do. So we're gonna continue taking it back apart, see what camshaft is in it, see what see what other parts we got going on, and then it's gonna go right over to the machine shop. That way, when we assemble it again, be ready to go, right? This isn't something that I would want to put in my car and have to worry about that nick. These head studs were only at like 60 foot-pounds. I mean, they weren't on there at all. They weren't on there torqued very hard. So something that happened with this engine, something that happened with these cylinder heads, and that's what we're here to discover and try to figure out and rectify. Sometimes it's not always, I'm always one to admit if I do something wrong or whatever, and that's why we fix it. So it's gonna be a pretty badass little refreshed motor ready to go.
That's from the rings or...
Yeah, look at this. You can see the cylinder wall scratched up. Something got down in there, or the ringland, or I don't know. We'll figure it out though. So as we continue to take it apart, check this out. Somebody put an OEM lifter in with a bunch of trick flows. Well, that's what it looks like, is trick flows. Go figure, bro. Never know, man. You never know. One thing I did want to show you guys on a tech tip is, you know, these are like the OE style timing chain pointers. And you can see this one's already kind of bent, especially when they're like this. Got to make sure they got a nice even, they're not bent this way or that way, or this is bent, because then it'll throw your timing off. You'll think you're at 0 degrees. Nonetheless, it's going to be done. It's going to be done right. It'll be a good motor, cleaned, fresh. Obviously, this motor was ran very briefly and it wasn't right. Gonna have to try to take care of this now for the channel member that we have, and I want to make sure that it's gonna run like a bat out of hell, bro. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. Looks like a comp cam. It's not bad. Doesn't have any wear on it. Ain't really been fired much. It's in there nice. It was in there pretty tight, but we got to check the bearings. So this motor was just a production block 302. It looked like it was a DSS rotating assembly. It's definitely a 306. Got some nice pieces in it, got some forged components, so it's worth actually going through and kind of giving it a clean bill of health. Definitely would make a killer NA block, probably make 300 wheel or so. You know, put some boost to it, could make 500 plus pretty easy. It's a pretty nice little comp cam that's in it. You know, we got a lot of nice little parts and fasteners and stuff that came out of the motor. So we're gonna go ahead and stuff those over under the bench and get them out of the way and get this over to Dalkey to get it looked at and get it refreshed. You know, I do engine builds here on the channel as well, but having that nick made me a little bit concerned about the scratch in the cylinder wall. So we're gonna get that all checked out and let him mic it all up and see if we can't reuse some of the stuff that's in it, like the bearings and the rings and stuff. But so this is what happens, guys. Sometimes you got to hit the reset button on some of these builds. You know, I have the 387 there that I need to get finished up so I can put it in the black car, and I got to get this motor finished up so I can give it back to its arm. I didn't want the engine to fail before it got started. Guys never know what you're getting when it's used. Guys, you enjoy this sort of content, leave me a comment below. Let me know if you've dealt with something like this before. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. There's a join button below as well. Exclusive membership to the channel. I appreciate all my channel members. Thank you guys so much. But outside of that, guys, I appreciate you watching. There will be a part 2 to this as it comes back and gets put back together so we can get it ready to ship out. So see you guys soon in the next video. Thanks for watching.